Okay, so hi everyone, this is Pratima and you're watching Gadget Byte. For the past couple of weeks now, I have been using the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max alongside the Galaxy A52, which I think will give a tough competition to this phone. Xiaomi and the entire team on their social media are claiming that this is the 10 on 10 phone. And if you look at some of its features like 120Hz OLED display and 108 megapixel cameras, well, it does look pretty good for a mid-range phone. But with Xiaomi, specs don't always tell the full story, which makes my job even more interesting. Hence, I took a little bit more time to test this device, and this is my super honest opinion about it. Starting with the design, well, Xiaomi has finally gone all sleek with the Redmi Note 10 series. This still isn't a very light phone like we see from Oppo's F series or Vivo's V series. Still, in Xiaomi's defense, they have used a heavier and more premium material than plastic. The phone has Corning's Gorilla Glass 5 at the back, and they have also included a big 5000 mAh battery here. Overall, I have liked the heft of this device. So unlike Xiaomi phones from the past, using this phone continuously has not been a muscle exercise for my hands. But one thing Xiaomi could improve is its width. The Note 10 Pro Max is a bit wider than say the Galaxy A52 and the Realme 8 Pro. Likewise, I did not notice any creaks or bends while applying pressure to this phone, yet if you have watched Gupta ji's video, this phone did not survive his bend test. Although it's far off from a real-life scenario, what we can learn from his videos is Samsung and Realme phones have survived such bend tests, whereas this phone has not. So this could be one area where Xiaomi could eventually improve upon. Now, talking of improvements, I like what Xiaomi has done with the color choices too. All three options, the Dark Knight, Glacier Blue and Vintage Bronze, are quite refreshing and look gorgeous. I got myself the Glacial Blue variant, which is subtle and light to the eyes. It also does not attract fingerprint smudges, and I prefer the camera module design this time around. The frame is still plastic, and on the right side you will see a power button that doubles up as a fingerprint sensor. It is in a perfect location and is pretty reliable. Until now, we have been arguing whether a manufacturer should provide a higher refresh rate LCD screen or a standard 60Hz AMOLED panel, but Xiaomi has put the debate to rest altogether by offering an OLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate on the Redmi Note 10 Pro series. The company has not mentioned who the manufacturer of the screen is, which makes me believe that it's not Samsung. Regardless, the quality of the screen is top quality, and out of the box it is well calibrated too. Although in the standard setting mode, I noticed slight bluish whitish hues. Xiaomi says that it has a peak brightness of 1200 nits, but it's only while watching certain HDR contents, which we usually don't. While browsing the UI, playing games or watching movies, it's the HDR content at play. And at that time, the peak brightness is around 450 nits only, which is still great. But Xiaomi India actually compared these numbers with the iPhone 12 Pro during the launch event, which is so Xiaomi. In reality, the iPhone 12 can hit 800 nits while watching HDR contents. That being said, the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max's display is still bright, and the outdoor visibility even while using on a sunny day is no issue. Likewise, Xiaomi says that it's the best display on a premium mid-range phone in India. But I don't think that's the case because the Realme X7 Pro, which falls in the same category, has a better screen. Although these two phones vary by a great margin in terms of their pricing, ultimately Xiaomi's claim is not true. So the lesson to learn here is do not fall for the marketing gimmicks that brands say during their launch event. I might have sounded a little too negative, but don't get me wrong, the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max's display is still the best in class for its price, no doubts. However, it is still not close to the flagships and some other premium mid-range phones, as they have better color calibration, brightness, better refresh rate switching, and also touch experience. Anyway, one area where Xiaomi has improved is in the audio department. It now comes with a true stereo speaker setup that has a much respectable quality. It is loud with decent level of detail, the mids and highs are good, but if you're into bass kind of music, it's a little disappointing. Still, for multimedia stuff like watching TV series, it is good enough. Okay, now let's talk about its performance, and here too, I think because of budget constraints, Xiaomi could not offer more, but has had to settle for last year's 4G capable Snapdragon 732G chipset. Although it's quite a good performer for the price, I just feel that the inclusion of 5G ready Snapdragon 750G or the Dimensity 800U would have made 5G widespread, since this phone is going to sell in millions. But with the global chipset shortage and because 5G chipsets are pricey right now, Xiaomi simply could not include a 5G silicon here. Regardless, with the 6GB RAM variant that I have with me and the newer and faster UFS 2.2 storage, its performance is what you would expect from a mid-range phone of 2021. Apps load fast, multitasking is swift, and things like texting are no problem. And keeping the 120Hz refresh rate always on throughout the UI and all the system apps, things are pretty smooth here. By the way, this display reverts to 60Hz if the picture is static or if you're watching movies. However, the MIUI skin still needs a lot of refinement in my opinion. For instance, the RAM management here is not that great despite Xiaomi sending an update to fix it. So if you reopen a slightly heavy app after 10 minutes or so, it will restart. This isn't an issue on my friend's 3-year-old iPhone 10 and still here we are in 2021. But unlike the Poco X3, this one does not seem to have that much of a jittery or laggy performance while trying to multitask. It works smoothly, although at times, not often though, the Snapdragon 732G does struggle to keep up with the 120Hz refresh rate. Likewise, Xiaomi seems to have fixed other bugs like the proximity sensor not working and the likes, but still the dark mode in here is not that optimized. Just look at the Messenger app. This part is supposed to be dark like you can see here with the Galaxy A52. Similarly, in the Spotify app, the time bar is completely invisible. This isn't a big issue though, but for a company that will be making electric cars in the future, such kinds of problems should have been taken care by the product and quality control department in a snap. As for gaming, this isn't the best phone for the price as you can get the Poco X3 Pro for a similar price that offers much better performance. But coming from last year's Redmi Note 9 Pro Max, Xiaomi has optimized the performance here. In PUBG Mobile, it can go up to balanced graphics and ultra frame rates and it runs without any stutters. But for the smoothest of experience with very little heating, smooth graphics and ultra frame rates will yield you a better result. Likewise, Critical Ops, which offers 120Hz gameplay, is indeed playable at 120 FPS and is quite optimized. I do not face any heating issues either, although it does get slightly warm, but nothing worrying like TechBar's title suggests. Overall, I have to say that the performance of the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max is satisfactory and should be enough for most users, but I do hope that Xiaomi does not mess up with the stability of its performance in the long run, and in fact, I am hopeful that they will fix these minor bugs and provide regular software updates. While filming this video, our unit is still on February security update, which is kinda slow. And like I faced with the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max, over time it might not even receive monthly security updates, settling for quarterly ones, so I hope that they improve in this department as well. Okay, finally, let's talk about its cameras. The Redmi Note 10 Pro Max boasts a quad camera setup at the back with a 108 megapixel primary lens that sets it apart from the cheaper Redmi Note 10 Pro. It's the Samsung HM2 sensor and completing the setup is an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, a 2 megapixel depth and a 5 megapixel super macro lens. The normal daytime images from the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max are quite good, especially in terms of details. Likewise, the dynamic range and color reproduction are okay-ish as well. I compared its cameras against the Galaxy A52 to see how just good the camera is, and what I found is that in most instances, daylight photos from the A52 look superior. As you can see, the A52's images have slightly better sharpness, better dynamic range, details, and it even wins in terms of brightness. It manages to bring out more natural looking colors, while the Note 10 Pro Max tends to oversaturate the photos by a lot. Still, when shooting photos of flowers, I like the ones from the Note 10 Pro Max more because of the said bump in contrast. Now, jumping to the ultra-wide-angle shots, I noticed a wide shift in color science compared to the primary lens. Coming from the vibrant photos from the main sensor, the wide-angle camera shoots rather muted colors. Besides this, the wide-angle shots do not retain a satisfactory level of detail too. All of this just screams a lack of proper optimization, and I can only hope Xiaomi will push updates in the future to fix this issue. As for the portraits, compared to the Galaxy A52, subjects from the Note 10 Pro Max tend to look a tad bit dark. It's not that bad, but the difference becomes clear as day when putting the two phones side by side. Here, portraits from A52 look slightly more pleasing with good subject skin tone. Under a low light condition, I like the photos from the Note 10 Pro Max. They pop in terms of colors and they are quite pleasant to look at. The result is same when turning on the night mode as well. Images turn out having plenty of details with well-balanced exposure. but under extreme low light situations, the A52 manages to capture better looking pictures. Alright, in terms of selfie images, I noticed a slight greenish tint from the Note 10 Pro Max. As a result, subjects don't look as natural or as good. It's the same with the portrait selfies as well. Getting to the videos, there's no OIS here, although Xiaomi has included EIS. Yet, that's restricted to 1080p 30fps footages only. You can crank the resolution to 4K 30fps for better details or 1080p 60fps mode for smoothness, but these settings are void of any form of stabilization. Likewise, you can capture ultra-wide-angle videos up to 1080p 30fps, and although it's fairly stabilized, quality takes a hit. Even the selfie videos are limited to 1080p 30fps only, and the quality, well, it does not look that good. The audio pickup from the microphone is not that great either, so it's not an ideal choice for vlogging. I think you'll be better off with 2 or 3-year-old flagship phones from Samsung or iPhone if you're into vlogging and that kind of stuff. By the way, I'm also making a detailed comparison video between the Galaxy A52 and the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max in the coming days, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon to be a part of our notification squad. With that out of the way, let's now talk about its battery. Here you get a big 5020 mAh cell. But because of its 120Hz refresh rate, I could not get excellent battery endurance like we're familiar with other Redmi Note series phones from the past. But still, it is good enough to last you through the day. The phone supports 33-watt fast charging, and thankfully, the 33-watt fast charger is provided inside the box. While it obviously does not compete against the 65-watt fast charging from Realme, but I feel like 33-watt is a good middle ground considering charging speed and battery health in the long run. So let's wrap it all up. I have been using Redmi Note devices ever since its origin back in 2014. I still have the Redmi Note 3 with me, which at that time came with a powerful Snapdragon 650 chipset, metal back, and a great battery life. Brings back some great memories. While those were great budget phones of the past, Xiaomi has gradually increased the prices of their Note series while also bringing significant improvement throughout the years, so much so that the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max right here is now a premium mid-range phone rather than your regular mid-range one. The only caveat that still remains on with this phone is its MIUI and maybe its camera optimization, and because of that, it is not a 10 out of 10 phone that Xiaomi would want to make you believe. That being said, it is still an excellent value-packed phone, and I would recommend it to anyone who's looking for a stellar all-rounder in this price segment. So that was all for our full and detailed review of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. Do stay tuned for our full comparison video of the Galaxy A52 and the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. Till then, I'm Pratima Adhikari and I'll see you in the next one.